I'm going to give you 5 tips and tricks to help you become a better line cook. Let's get into it. I have been executive head chef of a small casino in my hometown here for going on 11 years. Been in the industry for 14, 15 years. I became executive head chef when I was 23, and I haven't looked back since. Now, 5 tips and tricks I'm going to give you in this video are just things that I appreciate that my staff do. And it's things that I've done in the past, being a line cook, prep cook. Tip number 1, do things without being asked. Take initiative. Us chefs love that, and it doesn't go unnoticed. If you notice that there's something that needs to get done, just do it. Just do it. Just, get her done, right? And be simple as like helping finish off the prep list, right? Or helping the dishwasher with dishes, or just all these small little things. You may think that they go unnoticed, but they don't. And it's appreciated by the chef, the sous chef, right? If we have to constantly ask you guys or ask the cooks to do things, it shows that there's no initiative. It shows that you have to constantly be reminders. So the biggest thing for me is show initiative. I remember when I was a line cook, and one of the things that took my chef by surprise was I said to her, I'm like, hey, can I come up with a Friday night dinner special? And she was like taken back. She was like, whoa, you want to come up with something? Yeah. She was like, okay, by all means. I'm like, perfect. Oh, and it's small things like that. Like, I've had a couple cooks come up to me and go, hey chef, do you mind if I try this out? Hey man, by all means, try it out. We'll critique it, and we'll see if it's something that we can run. And it's those small things that show initiative, and they show that you want to get better, and it shows that you want to learn. Tip number 2. If you're in the industry, you know that cooking is a stressful job. And by doing so, you know that there's going to be times where you're short-staffed, the cook can't make it, or you finally get a day off and you're like, oh, this is great. The odd time, pick up that extra shift. This goes back to the chef not forgetting. And the reason why, and I'm not saying pick up every extra shift available. That's not what I'm saying. But the odd extra shift here and there gives the chef a little bit of a break from him coming in and covering. And we appreciate that. We work long hours as it is. So when we do get that one day off or that 2 days off, we look forward to spending it with our kids or family, you name it. And I'm sure all of you guys do too. But we don't forget those things. We don't forget those, right? You pick up the extra shift and you'll get rewarded in some way, shape, or form. Maybe the following week you'll get a 3-day weekend because, well, hell, you deserved it. You worked that extra shift, so we'll give you a 3-day weekend. And those are just some examples that I've done in the past. I've had cooks come in and cover, and I've been able to rework the schedule the following week to give them a 3-day weekend because they did come in and cover. And some cooks, they'll love it because that's more money in their pocket. They will gladly take extra shifts, but don't take advantage of those guys because they're going to burn out. Number 3, this is a bit of a pet peeve of mine because I've had some guys who have been in the industry longer than me and older than me that think they know more than me. And granted, they probably do. But the bottom line is it's my kitchen, my restaurant. Don't argue with the chef. Maybe you've seen another way to do something. Then bring it up to him. Be like, hey chef, this other restaurant I worked at, we did it this way. Maybe he was unaware of it. Bring in suggestions like that. Or be tactful in your approach, but don't flat out argue with your chef. If he shows you how to do something a certain way, then do it that way. There's a reason why he wants it done a certain way, or she wants it done a certain way. Don't argue with the chef. Shows you a certain way to do something, a certain way he wants a sauce made, a certain way he wants a dish plated, a certain amount of spice in a recipe. He's developed those recipes. He's developed those methods for a reason. Don't go changing it and don't go arguing with him about it. Okay. That's just a pet peeve of mine. Number 4, put your ego at the door. Okay. Yes, it's okay to walk in with a little bit of a chip on your shoulder, but at the same time, put your ego at the door. Okay. You're there. Most of us are there to learn, right? We want to learn. We want to get better. We want to expand our craft. Biggest thing that I've run into is guys and women with big egos that refuse to learn because they think they know it all. Their years of experience in other restaurants and in other kitchens that, well, at so-and-so restaurant, we've done it this way and this is the only way I'm going to do it. That goes back to number 3, right? Don't argue with your chef. Okay. Be tactful in your approach when you're offering suggestions on certain things, right? Or ideas, right? Your chef will listen if you're tactful in the sense that, hey chef, when I worked at so-and-so for 3 years, we did something similar, but we did it this way, you know? Be respectful. Tactful in your approach when you're offering suggestions, okay? But putting your ego at the door as soon as you walk through, right? We like people, and this kind of leads into number 5 a bit, but we like people with a willingness to learn, right? That's one of the biggest keys. Come in and you want to learn. We're going to take those guys over the guys with a few more years experience because they're like a sponge. They want to learn. Okay. That leads directly into number 5. Be willing to learn and have a positive attitude or a willingness. Willingness? Yeah. Have a willingness. Okay. And that positive attitude. That'll get you miles. Now, granted, we are in a stressful industry, so it is hard to stay positive 100% of the time. I get that. We've been there. We're all going to have our bad days. We're all going to have our good days. But there's nothing worse than somebody coming into work and they're already miserable before their shift starts. And you can just see the faces of your fellow line cooks, co-workers, and you can see the morale just go down. You can see everyone's demeanor and all of a sudden everyone's just, it's going to be one of those nights, right? Before anything's even started. Be willing to learn. And that's the biggest thing for me. I've hired guys with no experience as dishwashers, and they've started off as dishwashers, and then they come to me and they're like, hey chef, do you think I could actually get out of the dish pit and start doing some prep? Like, yeah, man. Yeah, we can try that and see how you do. And all of a sudden they're killing it on prep because they have a willingness to learn. They're like a sponge, right? They're just going to soak up all your knowledge because they don't know any better, right? Someone with zero experience sometimes could be a greater asset than somebody with 3-5 years experience because they don't have that ego and they don't have any prior knowledge. So they'll sit there and they will take your advice and they will soak it up like a sponge, especially if they have a willingness to learn. I remember after I graduated culinary school, I went down to work in a restaurant and I got interviewed by the sous chef, and I didn't have much on my resume. I had my culinary arts 2-year program on there, and I had A&W on there, the fast food restaurant, for those of you that don't know. That's all I had. And I was worried about that. I told them, I'm like, hey, chef, I don't have much experience, but I just graduated and I want to learn. I want to be here. Right off the hop, he set up a second interview with the executive head chef. Had an interview with her. She hired me based on my demeanor and my willingness to learn. And I remember working down there. It was a rough first week, that's for sure. It was an eye-opening experience, but I think I'll leave that for another video. But she hired me based on my willingness to learn, my drive. Like, she's seen it and she just knew that I wanted to work. And I wanted to learn and I wanted to gain as much knowledge as I possibly could. I ended up working for her for 3 years, and that gave me a greater knowledge of food than I ever could imagined working elsewhere at that time. And that gave me the basis to go back home and end up getting the job I have now. You go back to that whole positive attitude. That if you come into work and you're happy to work and you're ready to work, it shows. And for morale, so to recap, do things without being asked. Show that initiative. The smallest one on the list, cover the odd shift. Gives your chef a bit of a break, puts a little bit more money in your pocket, and it shows that you are 100% a team player. 3, don't argue with the chef. He's spent a bunch of time developing recipes and menu items designed a certain way to go a certain way. He wants that he or she wants. But at the same time, don't be afraid to ask questions. Be afraid to ask questions. Go, hey chef, how come we do it this way? If your chef's competent enough, he will know, hey, this is why we're doing it this way. Okay. If you're new to the industry, keep these in the back of your mind. They will go a long way and the chefs won't forget. All right, guys, that's going to do it here.